an audio output. So, anyways, welcome
I look a
to.
bit fuzzy.
You look fuzzy. You look drunk.
I think that Jintao rigged the stream and he's using up all the
All the
quality.
I am. No, it's because I invested in a quality webcam where you guys picked
No.
your shit out of the trash.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
I have a quality webcam too. I have no idea why you picked this fucking feed.
I don't have a
Well, hello,
choice.
everyone.
And this is what it looks like behind the scenes.
Video quality.
Yeah,
Welcome
behind
to the
the
Imperium Insider.
yeah. Well, it is what it is. Damn it.
Maybe later on in the stream we'll be fixed in like 2 hours time. But for now, enjoy this.
You look
Let's get
fabulous. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Imperium 2017 year in review. I am obviously Juntao, still the same guy. I don't know. Everything's inverted. So to one side of me is, oh God, that sounds so stupid. Fleet Commander Ostia. It just sounds so cheesy. It's horrible. And to the other side of me is the core of existence. I'm not even gonna say it. It just sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're just Fleet Command. That's just the
You couldn't
overarching
tell from
term
the
for
intro, We
everything.
take ourselves super seriously.
Yes. According to that last video that I played, we're obviously super serious. And as the show progresses, you will see how absolutely fucking serious we are. So, anyways, what are we here to do today? Yeah, I think we're here to talk about 2017. What happened? It's just gone, just like that.
Yep, just gone.
That's crazy.
And still no Star Citizen. But we're getting there. We're getting closer. Getting there.
There's kind of Star Citizen. There's like, we talked about it in our last Insider. It's close.
It's
It's still
there.
it's still soon TM.
There's like 3 headlights at the end of the tunnel now, so that's looking good.
Yeah. So the format for the year in review episode is pretty simple for anyone who doesn't know what to expect. We have 5 blocks, 6 blocks, I don't really know. Something like that. They're about 30 minutes each with a group of 3 different officers from 3 different divisions, and Jintaz the host. And then once they go through that, at the beginning of each block, we'll start a giveaway, and at the end of each block, we'll close the giveaway and get the prizes out to a lucky Imperium member during the breaks. The requirements are just to follow on Twitch and to message Ostia in Discord if you are selected as the winner to confirm that you are in fact an Imperium member. I think that's it, right?
It sounds about right.
Otherwise, we're just talking about the year, what's going on, divisional questions. Some people submitted Q&A questions ahead of time, so try and touch on all those things, and people can put some names to faces, and vice versa.
Yeah, you'll finally get to see some people we didn't even get to see a hell of a lot of over the last year.
Yeah, where were they?
Oh, no. They were there. We heard them. That was the annoying part. But we didn't see them. But now that we've put some faces to some names, it's been a good day.
I could tell you what, and I'll call him out right here and now, is Kron. That is not at all. I did not expect that at all. He's got this long, beautiful, flowing hair and shit. I was totally thinking he was going to be some shaved-headed geek sitting in a dark closet somewhere just coding like a madman. But I was wrong.
You got the last bit right though. He wasn't in the closet. Let's not get into it.
Yeah. So 2017 for Imperium, how did that go?
Pretty okay. Pretty okay.
All right, show's over. Thanks for coming. It was pretty okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
There've been a lot of changes, but most of them have been a little bit more under the hood, less forward facing. This had a little bit to do with our lack of a media presence that has kind of haunted us since the beginning, but we're hoping to fix that, and we've been trying, for the last couple of months to put a dent in that reputation and hopefully make it a bit better. I mean, the quality of my face does not scream like we're really trying right now, but we are, and that's all thanks to Jintel right here.
Well, I think that if I turned off your green, that you wouldn't look like such a ghost. You want me to do that?
But then why does Ostia also look like shit?
I'm pretty sure it's because, for anyone that doesn't know, you're gonna see and talk to, I think, 11 different divisional officers. So they're all in the same Zoom call here. And I'm assuming that as you keep adding more people, the quality goes down through the toilet. So that's probably what's happening, and we'll play with it. It doesn't matter. There's the first segment. We'll get it fixed in between breaks, hopefully.
Or we won't.
Or we won't.
What, Core?
Maybe.
I do remember when I was the host, I found that there was two different streams. One was a thumbnail stream, which is the small one, which is in the thing, and the other is the big one. I don't know how to find the right one right now.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Fuck it.
Yeah, the preview right now, I'm looking on my other monitor. It's Valenquo, and his face is like right in my face. He's holding up a glass of what looks like whiskey, I think, or rum, or some colored alcoholic beverage. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
They're all drinking behind the scenes, getting themselves psyched up, ready to face everyone. It's interesting.
Yeah, nerves will do that to you. That's why I just drink coffee.
So I guess the big topic for discussion this year is the interview. I'm sure if you're watching the stream, you've probably already seen the website, Imperium.sc, and we posted the interview up there. The officers spent some time basically writing down what they've done this year and their plans for the following year. Like Cor said, a lot of the stuff that transpired this year is, and thanks to a large part, is the tech division. They've done a lot of work, and that would be evident by the length of the report. It's freaking enormous. It's got lots of pictures. Oh, it looks like Jintel's gonna cut to the tech report, but they've done a ton of work there, and you might not get to see all of it yet, but soon. Every part of what Imperium has right now. Whether you're looking at the portal in the sections where you can set your interests or join a unit or fill out your fleet hangar or your ship hangar, to all the stuff that they're working on with academy integration for different learning tools, as well as mission system and reporting systems for like in-game system tracking. That's all being worked on. It's a huge project, obviously. And they're all, the whole tech team made up of volunteers. They don't get paid, and they do it because they love Imperium and they love what Star Citizen can be. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood there, and I guess they'll get into that more later in the stream when the tech division jumps on. And I'm sure there'll be lots of questions for Kron and the rest of the guys. But, I think this year was really good for us. We started streaming our video content, which is kind of nice too. I'm sure Jintai can talk about that a little bit. Maybe you can tell people how we used to do it, and now we shifted from just on YouTube to streaming everything. I don't know.
Sure,
throwing you on the spotlight here.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely exciting for me. I'm the one that pushed this project to be live. We have been doing like pre-recorded videos that we were posting on YouTube. Like at one point we were doing the Imperium report, which was just audio with some footage and a bunch of animations and stuff, and that transitioned into us doing facial capture, but in a YouTube format that could be edited down, but it still doesn't give the personal touch that I thought the organization needed with its member base. So I leaned on everybody really hard to make this a thing. And then they said, okay, smart ass, you want it to be a thing? It's your project. Have fun. So here I am. Now we're going to do as much content on YouTube or on Twitch as possible. The Imperium Insider is still the first Saturday of every month at 1900 UTC. And that's theoretically an hour, give or take. And I am in the process of lining up prospects that would like to stream Star Citizen on this channel. So if that's something that interests you, you can get with me on Discord and we can do a rundown to see if that's something that we actually want to follow through on. My number one guy right now, I don't know, I think he's sick, Zeus Omega, has stepped up and he wants to do something. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, that's good stuff. So also these videos that we do via Twitch are kind of trimmed down via editing and then posted on YouTube. So if you miss anything or you want to listen to it while you're driving, I know that my voice is so damn soothing that there's nothing better on a long drive than to listen to Juntao talk shit. So that's great. And yeah, you'll be able to do that. So, but I would like to go back real quick because 2017 saw the implementation of the new Imperium.sc website. And we've talked about it in the past, but this is a huge step as far as like optics go to the community. It's a really good looking site. It's very functional. It has everything that you would think you would need. We'll go, where is it? The About page gives a little bit of history about who we are and some FAQs and whatnot. Where is the wiki located? Is it under community?
The wiki, I think the only link to the wiki is through the Star Citizen base forums right now. But there's a ton of information under the Join Us page. Like mostly everything that people would want to know before they joined us.
Yeah, so this was a really good, and you know, we got to give credit where credit is due. Leon and Astia worked ridiculously hard to make this a thing in such a presentable fashion that I'm proud of you guys. It was a good deal. It worked out really well. So
yeah, Leon did a ton of work. He yeah, and he still does actually. He even helped us set up the interview page with all the reports and all the cool, funky stuff that's going on there. And so him and I worked pretty hard to get that out and done and ready for everybody. If everyone's watching, yeah, we just passed the. We're on the events section. That's one that you should probably just keep an eye on because all the events, all the Q&As, game days. Will be posted there, and insiders. They're all posted there, you know, pretty well in advance. So, you know, pretty much if you follow that website, you won't miss an event. You know, but I mean, if you don't want to follow it, that's pretty much fine. First Saturday of every month, and the second last Saturday of every month, there's pretty much always an event, regardless of the date.
Absolutely, the insiders will be on the first Saturday, and the game days will always be on. Well, depending on how many Saturdays there are in a month, they will be...
yeah, holidays too.
Yeah. So that's that. And then there is one other exciting implementation to this website, which is this guy right here. Imperium's website now has a new storefront sponsored by Spreadshirt. where you can get your Imperium swag on. And I think it goes without saying that technically this belonged to Nazareth at one point, and he was gracious enough to transfer ownership to the fleet.
Yeah, so big shout out to Naz, who actually hosted the Imperium shop before we did, and he used this store. And what happened is Spreadshirt has some new policy changes, and basically if you had made a store past a certain date, they had changed up the type of merch you could get. And so when we made the first Imperium store for the website, you couldn't do things like get your username on the back of your shirt, or any customization on the arm pads or arm sleeves, or on the back of the shirt. And so Naz was nice enough to completely give us full control over that account and transfer it to us. And so we have a ton of awesome new merch options for people going to events. They can put their name on the back, and it's a little bit more customizable and nice for, big events and such. As usual, we'll try and do special designs for example, going to CitizenCon or Gamescom or whatever it happens to be. But yeah, so massive thank you to Naz, and massive thank you to everyone who buys products from the shop, because all the funds that we earn as profit from this shop goes back into buying gift cards and giveaways for stuff like we're doing right now. So to those of you who have bought products from the new shop, thank you, and you're funding the giveaways that we're doing today in part. And also, I should say, speaking of giveaways, while Jintao was talking, I did open up a giveaway. If you're paying attention, type !rigged in the chat, and at the end of this segment we will give away a $25 gift card to an Imperium member.
That was very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Last year was really good, actually. We got a lot done in terms of just, I guess, outreach. We don't do a ton of stuff over Reddit or specifically Spectrum, because we hate Spectrum. I think everybody hates Spectrum, but
hate is such a strong word.
So,
I just don't go there because it's trash.
Yeah. So, we do our best to grow our community where, we have a lot of people here, and we want to engage them. We want to give them something to do, whether it's like events like game day or just watching streams, while they're at work or bored or whatever. So yeah, just kind of, I don't know any other orgs that do this as orgs. I know orgs that do this as independent streamers who are, trying to get more followers and build their channels, but I don't know another org that does this as an org. And so that's what I think is something that's really special about Imperium. We have people from all over the place willing to, make sacrifices to build the org up, and that's what makes this place very special.
You shake your head. You're just like, yep, what he said.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I've been here for a long time, and there have always been some issues when it comes to, like I pointed out earlier, our forward-facing media and the way that we present ourselves. And mostly we've been focusing on optimizing everything within the organization, like getting our structure both to a place where it's rigid but still really adaptable, and getting the right people and finding, the right balances between those things is, taking up a lot of our time. And I think that's one of the primary reasons that we never had like a dedicated person or a dedicated well, you also need someone who's interested, of course, but we never really had the dedicated passion to try and work on our media. And yeah, I'm really excited that we are definitely, making that work, and I'm looking forward to the prospects of what we're going to try and achieve in 2018. And as for the website, it does look absolutely amazing. For some reason, the quality of my camera got worse. Also, my zoom is gone. I can't find it. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think a bunch of people turned their cameras off on the chat, so that or in the group, so that's helping a lot. But yeah, so we have 10 minutes left in this segment for the FC. It's more like introduction. We do have more of a question and answer part later on, but if we get rid of some of those Q&A questions, with 10 minutes left, that gives us time for whatever we want right before we switch over to break and to complete the giveaway. So I have a document. We collected a bunch of Q&A questions from the forums, and we split them all into who they're most appropriate for. So if your question isn't answered right here at this very second, chances are it will be answered within the next 2.5, 3 hours from now. And one question I want to touch on right away, because it's like an Imperium branding question. And I don't know how many people know this, but Grizz asked, where does the motto, "The sun never sets," originate, and can it be added to the wiki? Yeah, we could probably add that to the wiki. The origin of "The sun never sets" is that Imperium had a very Roman theme to it at the very beginning, and the thing was, the sun never sets on the Roman Empire because it was so large, and so that's basically where it came from, because Imperium was the largest org for a very, very long time. So that's where that motto came from. The sun never sets.
And also, it's an excuse that we didn't have to update it.
Right. No, and it's a cute little theme, so it works. Branding is important, So, and we're later in the show, in the final and fifth block, we are going to cover some of the points that you had mentioned about the largest org and blah, blah, blah. And there'll be a segue into that. It's a surprise. You'll see it. You'll be shocked that I've had the balls to put it out there, but I'm going to fucking do it anyway, because that's what I do. There was a question that is not in the document that, first things first, WFJA. Okay. WFJA. He's a member. Wifja. Okay. So he had a meltdown on Discord the other day. It's Wifja. Damn it. So not Wifja. So anyways, he asked a question in the chat that said, what does Fleet Command do? And I think that's a viable question. What in the hell do you guys do?
Well,
that's a very big question.
It's vague, yes. Which leaves you a bunch of room for leaving gray space in between.
All right. Who you want to go first, Corey? Or you want me to go first?
Well, there's two ways to answer the question. The first, I'll go first, sorry. The first way to answer it is that we could tell you exactly in detail every tiny little thing that we do in our day-to-day lives that in some way affects Imperium. Whether it be managing people or managing projects or overseeing or just approving or trying to make sure that the general message that Imperium is putting out there is still what we believe envisioned with what the core group of Fleet Command have as an idea for Imperium. Part of that is also answering to the response from what our members expect from Imperium, because usually when people join an organization, there's already pre-established notions of what they think Imperium is about, where it's going to go, how it's going to function, and it is important for us to make sure that both the members' feelings about that are realized and our own. But in a nutshell, what the Imperium Fleet Command specifically does is make sure that Imperium continues to run as it is, that people who are competent enough to stay in positions where they're supposed to be, where they can help, who can help, what projects we think are the most vital to work on. Same thing management in any corporation does. So, yeah, Ostia?
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. I mean, a lot of stuff you can't see. To give examples, we couldn't get him on, but Gallatin takes care of a ton of the
website management on Star Citizen base, the servers. Core helps him with that, and I believe they pay up front for all that stuff, the stuff that you see Imperium.sc, all your donations on the SCB side pay for a very large chunk of that, but not all of it. And so, Gallatin, Core, myself, we've all put out money to make sure that things run smoothly and, just cover any additional costs that we don't cover as a group of players. And so that's a small part of it, but mostly just management in terms of, getting... Well, let me put it like this. There's a limited amount of people that Imperium or any group has that are willing to take away time from their daily lives and their family and their real life and to use it for Imperium. And so it's crucial that they're not wasting their time. And so for us, that means making sure that when they work on something, it has a purpose and that it ends in a finished product that can benefit the org. And so that can apply to anything. That applies to media projects, it applies to research projects, for example, preparing content for a course or working on the portal or fixing details on the Imperium wiki or on the website as they change. There's just a ton of stuff. For example, this stream, it's not really particularly our job, but we have to make sure that it's our responsibility to make sure it turns out good, and so we'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. And so basically there's just too many things to list, but it is what it is, and we're happy to do it. And
I could tell you from my perspective, since you brought up making sure that the stream runs the way that it should and all that stuff, I could tell you absolutely what they do. They yell at me a lot about floating text.
You guys wouldn't believe the floating text is trying to get away with you.
Quality control.
I killed all of them.
Yeah, a lot of
Quality
he kills a lot of my ideas. He just squashes them. He's like, nope, you suck. Try again.
Fleet Command summed up in 2 words: dream killers.
Dream killers.
Well, management. That's it. It's just management.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And that's something we had a conversation before with some people. You guys weren't necessarily involved, but I spent in a ridiculous amount of time interacting with the fleet in general, especially those that want to come into TeamSpeak. I'm generally always there if I'm not working or doing something with my family. So this stuff came, salt. This stuff came out. I don't remember the context of the conversation, but at the end, the result is, my personal view of Imperium is more of a business, a Star Citizen based business. And I don't mean that in the sense that we make money, but we kind of operate like a corporation in a sense.
But remember what Imperium organizations are called. They're called organizations or corporations, as it says on their website. And that is the way that we structured and decided to build ourselves. We didn't do it from a management point of view, as in we want to make money or we want to run people into the ground and take away their spirit and souls. That's not what we were about. But we needed an organizational structure that worked for us. And since, well, I'm not going to go into it, but we've undergone a lot of changes, and we're now at the point where it can work. And this is the reason why we have a fleet command, why we have officers, and why we have specialists supporting those officers. And basically every single rank up the ladder supports the rank above it, and it can work, just as long as people are motivated.
So, since we have 1 more minute until this segment is over, the guys spent a fairly good chunk of time getting organized, getting their faces and voices ready for you beautiful viewers. And I guess we will close the first giveaway and see who wins. We have a total of 28 entries, so we will close it and see what happens. Dead Cat Dance is the winner, so PM me on Discord, Dead Cat, and since I know you're already there, I'm going to need the email address you want the gift card sent to, and I need your Star Citizen name or whatever it is in game. Those are the two things I need to send you the gift card. So you do that during the break, and I'll get it to you during the break.
Okay, cool. And with that, we're gonna share some interesting Star Citizen footage with you, and
Yeah.
we'll be back in the second block with the 3 primary divisional representatives. And we'll see you in a minute. Change the scene,
You
damn
guys
it.
are a mercenary group that have been hired out by my boss. At this point in time, he is being held hostage by a band of pirates inside Yela. Right now, we're going to follow a predestined route to avoid any possible contact with these pirates. Your mission is to fly with me. We make our way over to Yela and scare off any pirates. Expect that my boss will have additional tasks for us. Probably won't take it too lightly that these pirates have taken him hostage.
Well, I thought the song was going to end sooner, damn it. I don't know what you want from me. I'm not a professional producer. I'm winging it, dude.
Yeah, I was just looking at the timer going,
We're late.
going the wrong way.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing it live.
Yeah, doing it live. Segment 2 of the Imperium Year in Review for 2017. Obviously, I have an issue here. I see the wrong face with the wrong name. So, let's start somewhere else. Representing the Trade and Industry Division, we have Siberian K.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Representing the Exploration Division, we have Valenquo.
Hi.
Hi. And representing the Military Division, it's really not Nazareth unless he grew like a burly beard in like very short period of time. So it's not. It's Core again.
I did always imagine him with a beard. No, unfortunately, he's having some internet issues, which, if they get sorted out, you'll see me disappear and him appear, which will be a nice little magic act. But until then, let's get going.
Oh, it'll absolutely be chaos. So, because that doesn't put any fucking unnecessary burden on Juntao. No. All right, so let's see. How do you guys want to handle this? Because you had some questions in the Q&A to address, but is there anything in specific you would like to talk about before we get into that stuff? I know Siberian and myself had a pretty long conversation yesterday, I think, about the state of Star Citizen, the timeline that we're looking at, the amount of opportunity for the primary divisions to organize themselves around the content presented. So it does present a unique challenge when you're trying to do these things.
Absolutely. So, no, I can talk about everything. Taxes, home base, all the easy topics.
Taxes.
Yeah, we'll have taxes. Get ready for that.
So you're interested in this first segment of a series of questions actually presented by Jack Soul, where he asks, upon the launch of the full game and persistence of credits, what will Imperium be offering to its users as a means of generating money? Now, does that mean how is Imperium going to pay its members? Because that's the way it reads.
Personally, I don't like, even though I'm German, I don't like the super autocratic approach. So every member is a free man rocking in the free world. So, and what's the issue about the game is usually when you play the game, you earn money, right? Of course, we have already talked about things like if you do long boring patrols for the fleet, or there's some issues where you lose a lot of money doing some missions for the fleet, there will be some common sense systems in place to make up for that. But you are not employed by Imperium. You are free man playing the game and earning money while playing the game. And I mean, as far as we know, I mean, we don't know everything, how it will be in the end, but as far as Chris Roberts has always envisioned it, no matter what profession and what mission you do, you will be earning money in the game. And I mean, in the last days, we even have some very big confirmations, but a lot of people always said that it will be the case. Stuff like you will never lose your ship that you paid money for. So it's probably not. It will probably not the case that you would need to be reimbursed for like 10 million credits or so, because of course all the credits that Imperium would pay the members would have to be taken out of your pockets. And I'm a low tax guy, so I don't like high taxes. So low taxes is, I mean, it's not my decision, of course, but that's what I would be voting for. But yeah, let's see how all that will end up. I mean, we don't know all the economy details, but I mean, in the production schedule, they said that they want to have, I think in July or whatever, so maybe it's December. They want to have an actual very revamped economy system and so on. So hopefully we finally get a little bit more details on the actual gameplay. Because then we can start to answer all these questions with a little bit more than just theory crafting. But we have, we have talked about all these things and about all the possibilities and different common sense approaches to things. Because I mean, that for me, we have to have some systems in place that works for everyone, works for the hardcore people and works for the casual people too, and is fair to everyone. Because as soon as money involved, it always has to be transparent and fair. And I will be, as far as I'm concerned, and probably Redurit as well, as I heard from him. Redurit is the other trade industry officer. We will be a voice for implementing some common sense system that's transparent and fair to everyone, but also assures that what we need to do as Imperium works.
And on that note, especially with taxes, we have actually addressed that on a previous Insider. We went pretty far overboard, I think, as to, where we think as a fleet, how all of that stuff is going to work. And obviously, like Siberian said, we don't have key information that gives us deep insight as to what we're actually going to be able to do in game. Chris Roberts has always said something about taxes or tithing. It happens in every game. It's in World of Warcraft. It's in EVE. It's all over the place. So, Cor, would you like to expand on that just a little bit?
Well, there are two things certain in life, and it's death and taxes, I think. Well, it kind of, like, I don't want to go into the 20-minute
sure,
or even hour-long conversation that we had about it before. As you heard from Siberian K and his other trade and industry officer, Durid, they will always try to advocate low taxes, try to make sure that whatever system is implemented is both fair for the members and both fair to Imperium's growth, because that's important. But Imperium's financial growth is not one of those things that you should look at like an actual economy for a country or anything like that. But more in the sense that we need Imperium to be able to not just protect its members financially and economically, we also need it to make sure that it can go somewhere. Like Siberian K pointed out earlier, if we just pay you for your time, we're taking your money to pay you. That is not how that will really work out in the end. But there are other services that Imperium will definitely be able to provide for those taxes and to make sure that Imperium can grow. Whatever we decide upon will hopefully be completely logical and will have extremely sound reasoning behind why we've made the choices that we will make. However, what choices we're going to make is one of those things that we can't answer right now because we are lacking key details on the mechanics, price points, the current game economy, etc. But when we know, you'll know.
Yeah, that's the fun part, right? There's a lot of questions on how things are actually going to work, and we field them all the time. But until there's something solidified from CIG that this is the final game mechanic, there's no real way to answer it other than we're obviously not going to try to bankrupt our membership in order to build a huge credit bank for the org, but we need to make sure that things are sustainable from both angles. It'll be a challenge, for sure.
And final note.
Yeah.
No, one final note on what I said is I truly believe that for Imperium's financial growth, our members need to be the ones that are thriving. So
absolutely,
that is the thing that will fuel Imperium's growth, not us taking your money and you seeing barely any return on it. The dream is that our members are the ones that thrive, so that Imperium grows off the back of that.
I would say something about trickle-down economics, but I'm not going to go there right now.
As happy as me that today, this year, we might actually see some non-common gameplay implemented. I mean, even if they can't hold their dates, which they probably can't. I mean, yeah, but this year might be it.
It would be a nice step up from just another combat update. Okay. Jintao?
Okay, so we will move on to a question, actually another series of questions for exploration. This is from Foxchard, and he gives a little bit of insight into the reasoning for his question, but basically the question is, will Imperium formulate a distinct policy for operations within alien-claimed space?
Well, we will have to go into alien claim space probably. I mean, as big as the galaxy is, both systems are owned by someone. So if you want to find the best resources out there, we're going to have to explore each and every system, including the ones owned by aliens. I think the major factor before going to those places will be the risk, both for the individual members and for the organization itself, before we allow anyone to do anything. So right now it's difficult to answer that question, but technically, yes, we will go to alien places. We just have to see how we can do that in an efficient way so that we don't waste all our hard-earned taxes on blown-up ships in Vandal space, for example. Hope it answers the question.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of clarifying on that point is that Imperium is a large organization. There are tons of members, right? And some members are not going to want to, I don't want to say follow the rules because that's not exactly the right phrasing, but Imperium will generate missions for Imperium. Imperium needs X amount of unobtainium. Someone please go get it. Imperium needs this section of space explored. Could someone please go find out what's out there stuff? But I don't believe that there will be policies that govern the actions of players specifically. Obviously, it's a game. You're going to be free to do what you want, and while it's going to be appreciated if you dedicate some of your play time to the greater good of the organization to help it grow and become stronger and provide you better gameplay in the future, it's not going to be, Juntao, you haven't done an Imperium organization-sponsored event in 30 days. You're getting a written warning kind of thing.
No, it will never be like that. It just, when it comes down to setting up operations for what Imperium needs, missions, I guess, quests, whatever you really want to call them, it'll always come down from a need of what Imperium needs. And it's never going to be one of those situations where we just say, we need 30 people to mine this, and then once they give that to Imperium, that's it. They've just spent hours doing that and don't get anything in return. The mission will likely be slightly different. It'll be, we need this much ore, and we'll just pay for the ore as Imperium members literally sell it to Imperium. That's kind of more the idea that we're going for. When it comes to resource management and paying for and making sure that all that stuff handles well. But that's just stuff that Imperium needs. There are also plenty of things that aren't substantial that Imperium needs, like things to be explored and things like that, and we can't easily compensate for that other than to say, all right, well, we need this done, and if your group does it or you guys do it, then we'll pay you for it with the money we made from all the other stuff.
I mean, usually in an MMO, after a certain time, people are bored, and I mean, our mission as Imperium staff, in my opinion, is if you are bored, here are additional options, additional levels of gameplay that you don't have if you're just in the game alone, or if you're just in a game in a 5-man org. You can do your solo play, you can do whatever, you can do your game in small groups, but then you also have additional levels of gameplay available in some fleet-wide events or secret hardcore missions, or maybe even at some point some intergalactic warfare stuff, if that ever really gets implemented in Star Citizen. And that's just additional levels of gameplay that you can enjoy, that we hope to give you with Imperium. And it's part of our job to actually provide you with that, and also make sure that you are more successful, and we as a group are more successful at all that stuff.
And also, going back to the original question as well, a lot of people are going to explore on their own because they just want to discover what's out there. And that's great. I mean, people are free to do whatever they want to a certain limit, as you said. And so if people want to go to the deepest Vandal space to see if they can find some hidden base or mothership or whatever, they're free to do that. And if they find something they think might be valuable for Imperium and want to share it with us, even better for everybody, then we can of course try to compensate them for the effort or give them some prize or privilege, something like that. But of course, on the other side, people that will take those risks on their own without, let's say, any official Imperium support, cannot expect Imperium to be there for them at all times if they're in the deepest corners of a hostile system with limited resources or access. They can't just expect. They can always ask, and we will always try to answer to anyone's help, of course. But unless we're actually setting up proper missions to have the whole line of support during that mission, people that are just playing for themselves will have to rely more on themselves when they're far away from our people.
Sure. And that just seems commonsensible, so... And we'll see what the game mechanics allow us to do and what not to do. I don't know if that's the end of the question, because everybody puts like their thoughts in their questions instead of just asking a question. So... this is interesting. This is from Wifja. And he asked a crap ton of questions, and this is like crazy in the formatting that he used. What do I want to pull out of here? For the military division, to what degree will you develop a militaristic hierarchy? Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a difficult question, mostly because of our intentions for what the military division is. There was a time when, and this was almost before my time, there was a time when military was, the idea for the military was specifically that it would have soldiers in it, and they would go places and do things, and they would have people running it and things. But we've moved away from that. We're now more at a point where military is more of a tactical, less strategical, but more tactical way of making sure that our members know. And let me flip this. The military officer's goal is to make sure that if anybody asks them how to do something, they will have an answer for you. They will know how combat works. They will know what strategies are the best. And they will try to analyze and strategize to make sure that Imperium stays on top of innovations in that particular field. Military specifically will probably require missions as well, just like we've discussed for exploration and for trade and industry. But what those are, I currently can't say. It might actually be to defend something, or to hold something, or to attack something. And military missions will appear on the mission board, and they will be asked, and people can join them as they want, but we won't have any dedicated soldiers or anything like that. So that basically harkens back to what Juntao was saying about people are free to be a trade and industry guy, or free to then choose, hey, today I'm not going to mine, today I want to shoot something, and this mission seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. Kind of like that. You're allowed... I'm sorry, these fucking comments about fucking Naz are fucking killing me. I'm sorry Naz isn't here to answer this question. I'm sure that he could do it better than I can. But yeah, that's kind of what it boils down to. There will not be a straight militaristic hierarchy for the military division because we don't have soldiers in the military division. We have people who will know exactly what Imperium needs, and where we want to take Imperium as a whole, but we were not going to have that military hierarchy. Now, as for the hierarchy that we're going to use when running operations, like who's going to be in control of that, that will exist. But that will be variable depending on the operation, the people present, and the amount of people required to actually make it work.
So you kind of answered the second part of his question in your statement, which was, will there be a standing force of personnel to participate in military operations who will be held to a higher standard, or will you rely on the academy training and units to fulfill your manpower needs?
Sorry, one more time?
It's basically asking, and you answered it before partially, would there be like a standing military force? What you said, there will be no soldiers. So obviously the answer is we're going to be relying more on academy training, which is going to be developed based on the information gathered by each individual divisional officers, put into useful information for the members, and they are free to gather themselves into what we call units under the unit system and participate in whatever gameplay they choose as a group.
So the answer to the question as a whole is actually yes. We will have we are trying to work out a concept for a standing army, which will act as a QRF for Imperium's active hours. But we're still working on that. We don't have that fully mapped out yet. So the answer is yes, we will have something like that.
And there's a follow-up question in chat that's directly related to military that says, won't we need military to have a permanent presence around our centers of operation? Well, probably.
That's another interesting question, mostly because we don't currently know how big that territory is going to be yet or where it will be. And because we don't have those answers, it's harder to say anything other than we are definitely working out a concept for how we can have at least either a QRF or a standing army to make sure that Imperium's territories are defended in that regard. Now, as for how we're going to do that, again, those are mechanics I don't have to answer on.
But to tie that back into the previous question from Wifja, will you rely on units to fulfill your manpower needs? Now, that's an interesting question because that falls under a couple different divisional sanctions. Operations generally oversees the units, but Imperium, if you've seen the year in review, which I'm sure that they'll cover it a little bit more in the operations segment, there are units which are just groups of people that form together to have a synergistic style of gameplay in any given gameplay facet, whether it be blowing shit up, defending shit, exploring shit, trading shit. It's a lot of shit in there, but you get my point. So.
What happened?
I would assume that these units...
The answer is yes. The answer is already more or less yes. We will be utilizing units and their active hours hopefully for implementation in this. I mean, it kind of depends on the units as well, because if they have a time slot for which they say between these hours we'll be active, and if you need us, then call on us and things like that. That stuff will very likely factor into the concept that we are currently setting up for our QRF / standing army.
Oh my god. I just caught on to what you were saying about the NAS comments. And that is the key word for the raffle currently is ! We want NAS. Good job, Asia. Lol. So, going forward into... Sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Going forward into 2018, what are the 3 primary divisions thinking that they're going to be focused on? We could start with Siberian. What are you guys planning for 2018?
Yeah, I want to get into all the mining or whatever they release. That would be great. Can finally play the game. Because I'm not very happy with what there is currently. But yeah, I hope that changes this year, and I'm pretty confident, even if it's December and not July, what they said. And then just the usual stuff, like meetings each weekend and all that.
Well, that's the difficult part about planning is we don't know what mechanics are going to release and when they're going to release and when you're going to be able to start picking them apart. And even at that point, they will most likely not be in their final state. So you will continuously need to be updating your protocols for how to deal with different things.
Yeah, I'm waiting for 5 years. I'm still here.
Yeah, I know that trade has had a particularly tough time. But
you have to shed your tears for the exploration, guys. Jump points. Maybe 2019, 2020, I don't know.
We'll be waiting with our ships for that. But I mean, we've started at least a bit with 3.0. I mean, all the exploration right now is based on Dead Reckoning, which is very tiresome in a huge system like we have right now. But at least it's something. We get to find stuff, we got to map them, we got to explain people how they can visit them, like the pirate lab, stuff like that. And so it's not exactly what we want from the game. I mean, we want sensors, we want to be able to map, we want to be able to actually scan stuff. But for now, being able to use the basic coordination system we have and everything, we can at least practice seeing how we will deal with the flow of information in the org, see how we can do stuff as a group, just start working together to get our feet wet, I guess, until we get something more substantial to work with. So we're hopefully going to be much more active in-game this year, even with 3.0 and 3.1.
So when it comes to military, I only have a couple of key points, and the primary one being the military has set up the framework for a competitive team. You can find more information about that in the year in review. And we are currently looking for good people. So if you're interested in playing a little bit more competitively, apply to join using the link that was just provided in the chat, and go check it out. It was an idea of us to do this a long time ago. We just it never got enough traction to actually go somewhere, but we're pushing it harder now. So get involved. As for the rest of military, there's a lot going on, but as you guys have just heard, the standing army concept is one we're working on. We're working on a couple of other things. I wish Naz was here because he'd be much better suited to answer the question than I am. So let's just focus on competitive teams. Let's do that. Let's make that happen.
And I think with the implementation of 3.0 has gained a little bit of excitement around the game, and people are starting to pay more attention and actually get in game and whatnot. So that's always a good thing. And and we're out of time for you guys. So Siberian and Valenko and Nazareth Core Morph, whose screen froze, who's probably had a PC issue himself. Thanks, and we'll see you in a few minutes with some more interesting insight into Imperium.
Thank you.
And thank you guys.
I like to sing, dance, pretend, and I like to have fun, 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 special friend.
make the ground shake.
some more behind-the-scenes insight into what goes on while we're waiting for the last 20-some seconds of the clock to tick down. I think, oh, that's right, Ostia just dragged Core out of the channel because he was talking about pulled pork. What was
Pornography.
Porknography?
Yep.
Something food-related?
Okay, so I can't.
We'll talk about that later.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Redacted
Hopefully
it
by
is.
later you mean never.
Oh, we mean like right now. Welcome,
You're
ladies and gentlemen. Block 3. My God.
User
When
joined
will
your
it
channel.
end?
User left your channel.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Oh,
Hopefully never.
It never
The
ends.
sun never sets.
The sun never friggin' sets. It's true. And my work never ends. So, with that, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce left. I don't know if that's left or right, but over there is Trophius from Operations. Hi, young man. How are ya?
Doing good.
Rolling gangsta. Yo.
Fuck yeah.
Aight. For fuck's sake. Down. Warwolf from the Academy. I think this is the first
Hello,
time
Pete.
you've ever been on a stream with us, right?
With you guys, yes. Try not to inflict my face on too many people, but you've dragged me in. God damn it.
You are a handsome young man, that's for sure.
Thank you, John Zell. You too.
But not as much as down there in that corner there, Kron with the snarl and his wonderful flowing godly locks.
Good evening.
Dude, not at all what I expected. I already said that, but I thought you would have it short and tight and all geeked out and shit. But you're like a rocker, man. It's crazy.
Thanks, I think.
Yeah, it's a compliment in the
that's a compliment.
States. In the States, it is. I mean, in Britain, who knows?
Well, anything goes, really.
Yeah, I thought it was all pretty much offensive. So, anyways, here we are. And thank you all for joining, and thank you to the viewers who tuned in. I was asked to remind you that, I don't remember what the keyword was. LOL! Because there was so much shit going on. A raffle is now opened, and oh my god, the exclamation point pornography is the keyword. Porg.
Yeah, boy.
Pornography. I want to fucking kill someone. Oh my god. I hate that damn thing. It's everywhere in my life now. It's all in our Discord. It's everywhere. Porg memes.
It's like a cancer in porg form.
It is. It's just fucking ridiculous. Anyways,
I blame Trophius.
we're not here to discuss that. We are here to discuss what in the world is going on in your respective divisions. So, looking through the Q&A, like, there's no way in hell that I can let Operations dominate the conversation that much, because there was a lot of questions for Operations. So if your question doesn't get answered today, there is a thread on the SCB forums for the Q&A where all of the well thought out and thorough answers will be posted as a follow-up to your questions. So don't forget, the SCB forums is where the information's at. Discord is where you could chat with your fellow friends. And TeamSpeak is where, if you want to get involved in gameplay, projects that we're working on, things of that nature, TeamSpeak is the place to go. So, and if you're a gamer and you don't have a headset and a mic, that is a fundamental problem. So, I'm surprised there weren't more questions for tech. And there's my wife. Hi.
I think most of the stuff tech does tends to be really nebulous anyway, so I'm not overly surprised that there's not many in there.
Well, I think
Let's
that
be
people
honest, tech covers everything.
really, but I think, to be honest, people don't realize how much work is actually going into the technical side of what makes Imperium and what will make Imperium function in the future. I know you don't take any of this seriously. He's like, I'm not. It's whatever. It's just code on a page that comes out as pixels for everybody to click on buttons and shit.
Yeah, that'll do. Who cares in the end?
But honestly,
numbers and letters.
We could literally spend hours just talking about the portal, the all those implementations that you guys have been able to. I don't even know because I don't understand how to code like that. It seems pretty miraculous that it's in the state that it's in.
No, I agree. I think it's rather miraculous every time I do something and it works.
I feel the same way most of the time.
Yeah, no, I did web design and other bits and pieces when I was at uni, 5-6 years ago, and while that gives you a decent basis of how to start actually doing something in a real life situation, it's a learning experience. There's a lot of trial and error, and oh shit, that didn't work. I wonder why it didn't work. 4 hours later, oh, that's why it didn't work. I'll know better next time.
I'll kill you. I will kill you and your porg. You son of a bitch. This is how they troll me with porgs. It wouldn't be so bad if they weren't just everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. So, all right, we're gonna bounce a couple of these Q&A questions off you. I'm gonna actually start with Academy, and so that's on you, Werewolf. The question, it doesn't have indication of who asked the question. I apologize, but any developments in the Academy that we should be aware of? And actually, I can think of one off the top of my head that was really a big deal coming into 2018, but I'll let you carry on.
Okay, well, coming into 2018, we're working on a whole new back end for Academy. We've spent a long time working with the original concept, but tech have basically taken the charge with a new back end that we'll be able to use to deliver courses to you guys in the future, whether it be video based, whether it be text based, all the rest of that. And we're probably going to trial it with a few simple courses for you guys to take, including things like some basics about operational knowledge and why it's important not to tweet out details of a mission you're going to be going on. We've got a second Academy officer just come in. A lot of you guys will probably know Steph Master. He's more traditionally known for exploration, and before that for search and rescue and all the rest of that. He brings a lot of experience with him from real life, and we're moving ahead with that and coordinating with all the other departments. I guess it might be important for me to actually explain how Academy works. Is that right, Junto?
Well, I would think that maybe you could start with, why does Imperium think an academy of this nature is important?
Okay, well, Academy is kind of the answer to the question, how do you get 3,000 people to work together? I think that was primary motivator.
Easily.
Yeah, not easily. So, for the majority of the small missions and stuff like that, when you're going solo, you're going with your mates, Academy's not really that necessary, to be honest. But if you want to take it a little bit further, if you want to get involved in some coordinated missions with larger groups, or if you want to get involved in the Imperium infrastructure or any of that stuff, then Academy is kind of the go-to shortcut for getting into that side of things. And if you want to pick up some new skills, if you want to, I don't know, if you were a combat pilot and you want to make some of those fat mining books, then hopefully we'll be able to deliver a course which will get you started on that route within 5 to 10 minutes. And if you ever want to take it further and become more advanced in that skill, we can help pass on that knowledge as well.
And I suppose, like, just as a general overview, the Academy is being laid out in a way to disseminate information from those who have knowledge and experience to those who don't have knowledge and experience, so we can pass that down to bring everybody up to a certain level.
Exactly, mate. It's basically increasing the base level of knowledge for everyone, giving everybody access to that kind of knowledge. If somebody's found the best way to mine unobtainium, I always go back to mining, I don't know why. If somebody's found the best way to mine unobtainium, then we want to get that information to the people who are mining that stuff and say, do whatever you want, mate, but this is the best way. You'll make fat bucks doing this. And like I say, it's about improving the entire organization as a whole by giving everybody access to the same amount of information and assets.
Now, I'll be honest with you. This is the first time I'm actually digging into the operations Q&A section of it. But there's some stinking questions in here, dude.
Really good. I mean,
they are. And some of them are really long.
Yeah, so we'll post them on the forums.
Here, I like this one. This is for operations. Foxtrot was the asker. That's not necessarily a word, but that's what I'm going to use. If Imperium had a shot at controlling a Bengal, do you think we would attempt to hold it?
Yes. As long as Core is not flying it.
Into a planet.
Yeah, right. No, we always have to think about the big.
We're losing your audio there, Chief.
Oh, shit.
You plug your headset in, that damn wireless. All these kids with this fancy tech. See? Now there's a cable.
No, it's always a cable. I don't do wireless. No, my microphone is temperamental. No, the short answer is yes, we will. We just have to make the assessment of risk versus the reward of it. If the risk is too great, then the reward of having a Bengal wouldn't be so wise. But in the long run, yes, we want to. It is a goal of Imperium and to expand.
A goal, but is it a necessity?
It's a necessity to try, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll try our best and do our best to get a Bengal if the opportunity has arisen.
Do you not think, like I do, that that's probably more of a troll by CIG to say, hey, there's a fucking hidden derelict Bengal out here that if your massive organization can recover, you can own it, and it's persistent, so you got to guard it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get you to go places that you normally wouldn't go in the game.
However that system will work is it's a troll in itself because you know there's going to be thousands of players there already.
Exactly.
And don't forget the whole, don't show it to the UEE either, because they're going to be really unhappy with you. And they're going to want it back.
So then your only options are to operate in low security space or hostile space in a ship that is damn near impossible to find, cost a shit ton of resources to... Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think that's crazy. But that's just
it's probably worth the effort, surely.
That's why I do
Bingo.
media and not all this crazy planning shit. So there, Foxtrot, I hope that helps you. And then Wiftjaw asked a lot of questions that were halfway decent. So this is a tech-related question. Do we have a rough production schedule for the development of Portal? And I would just venture to say on myself, I don't think that Portal will ever actually be finished.
Probably not.
I think that there will always be requests to add a feature, repair a feature.
Yep. It's pretty much my life. Oh, can we just have this? Oh, can we just have that? Oh, can we have this instead? Can you do this next? Could you do this before the thing you're going to do next?
He loves the attention.
In 2017, I mean, ops and I guess tech. Tech started work on our systems part of the portal and the missions system part of the portal. The systems would be our system cards where it would detail out all of the, the mundane, the information behind everything, like where the planets are. Is there any hostiles on it? What kind of stuff is being reported on that particular planet or moon? And the mission system would be the entire system that would encompass, all Imperium and SCB. SCB would cater to rank 0, while Imperium ranks start at level 1 and go up to level 5. and work has started on that. We're kind of getting the major details of it for the back end and what it should look like and how it should flow. And Tech has done a really amazing job on the portal itself overall. And for the mission system, it's coming. There was a little preview in the year in review, and 2018 is going to solidify more of those goals and processes between CIG and the mission system, so it flows correctly.
Hopefully, like everything else.
Yeah.
Hopefully by 2020. Here is a very interesting question for you, Kron. Do you think that the development of Spectrum may warrant pausing Portal development in case it's simpler to migrate to Spectrum, or do you plan to integrate the Portal into CIG's API?
It's actually a fairly interesting question. The answer is no. Mainly because we have no idea when or if Spectrum is going to release the features we want, or if they're going to release them in the way that we can actually access them easily. In particular to the API, I would love an API for quite a few things. The RSI org, we could do a lot of stuff with that potentially through an API. The map and the system module would also benefit quite greatly from an API, which, as far as we're aware, does not currently exist, and we have no idea if plans for such a thing is even on CIG's radar. So one of the main reasons we've done this on our own backs is because we don't know if CIG are going to. So Portal is not going to pause development just on the off chance they might do something. We're going to do it ourselves, and if further down the line they do something that's as good or better, or they give us an API that we can hook into, then sure, we'll go back, as we tend to do it with modules anyway, and see what we can change, what we can make better, and what we can streamline.
And in that vein, any one of you can answer this question. I would assume it would go more towards operations, but this is for me. What benefit is there to, and why should Imperium members make sure that they're registered and keep their portal profiles updated?
That's going to be somewhat integrated into the mission system as well. For the missions themselves, that we need an X ship. Let's just say we need a Idris. So you need to have your Idris registered in the portal to ultimately sign up for that mission if you're going with that particular ship. You can also lend your ships out to Imperium, and that system is more in the works of how it'll work, but we have a system where you can loan your ships to Imperium and allow Imperium to use them for official missions.
There's also the whole interests section on the profile as well.
Mm-hmm.
Our interests also doesn't really put into the mission system as much, but it gives us an idea of what you're interested in, what you intend to do, and that may have an impact on, well, if this person's really interested in doing mining, for example, then maybe we're more likely to pick him if we are intending to do a mining mission, either Imperium sanctioned or just because a group of people are getting together and want to go and eat some asteroids for 4 hours.
Well, and I think that's a fair point to make about that stuff, is the portal is not just a tool for Imperium, the Imperium organization, but it's also a tool for individual players to find other players.
Correct. Yep. That's the intent. Anyone that is a part of SCB can register on the portal, and once the mission system is released, they'll be able to use the same one that Imperium uses as well.
And it'll be the same tool. There won't be there's no segregation between Imperium members and SCB members, at least as far as the mission system is concerned. The only thing that SCB members wouldn't be able to see, at least in that context, is specifically Imperium sanctioned missions. So if one of the higher ups in Imperium said, look, we've got 3 ships here, we want to go and nick them, they're damaged, we want to go and send out people to repair, whatnot, bring them back. If that's an Imperium sanctioned mission, then only Imperium members can see it and can join it, which is fair enough. But anything else, if a member of Imperium makes a mission, everyone can see it. If someone in SCB makes a mission, everyone can see it, and so on and so forth. And in Portal in general, there's only a few sections that SCB members can't see, and that's specifically the units they don't have access to, but pretty much everything else they can see what an Imperium member has access to.
Okay, cool. And we're going to go back to Academy really quick because I just want to put this on him and see what happens.
Go for it.
There's still no name tied to the question, but the question is, at what critical point in development or information are we waiting for the creation and implementation of Academy courses and certifications?
Well, it's literally based on when the systems that they want to put in place are put in place. If there's nothing solid for us to teach, then we can't teach it. In the past, we have run things like pilot courses and passed out information. We've generated a wiki, collecting information before, and obviously I was involved in the Imperium News Network at one point. But fact of the matter is that we are approaching more solid systems. We're pretty much, I imagine that flight model's probably not going to change too much, so we can start putting things together about that. I imagine that there are other systems that are starting to solidify as we speak. Things like combat, they've got their own integrated mission system. We've got the bare bones of trade in there, and hopefully we'll get something a little bit more elaborate further down the line. But we've already, myself and Steph have already started discussing the courses that we're going to be producing this year and putting some stuff together. Once we get an effective method of getting them out to you, then I'm hoping we'll have 5 or 6 at the very beginning ready for you guys.
In regards to actually the getting them out the door bit, that's my fault that it's not done yet.
It's nobody's fault.
Well, no, I suppose not. From what Warwolf mentioned earlier, that we were moving away from one system and into another as far as getting certifications done. The initial intention was for us to use a pre-packaged piece of software like Moodle, which is specifically designed for taking tests and courses, and you've probably used it at a university or a college. They're used in educational establishments like that. The more we used it, though, it became quite quickly apparent that it looks like a piece of shit. It's not really easy to use, and there was some really quite significant difficulties in getting the thing connected up with the infrastructure that we already have in place, with Portal in particular. So after about a year, give or take, on and off of trying to get that thing working, we've binned it, and now we're going for a method which is going to be based entirely on Portal. I did do a little bit of work on this years and years ago, before Moodle came along and we changed direction, so we're now going back to that. We're brushing all the dust off, and we're going to smack that together into some half-working model to just so the Warwolf can get his things into it. And then we'll slap it into shape and get it out as quickly as we can. As to when that's going to be, scheduling is a moving target in tech. It'll depend entirely on what's the most important thing at any given time, and it's a toss-up between Academy and the missions at the moment, and I'm unsure which one's going to win out on that, but it's probably going to be missions.
And another limiter is always going to be always going to rely on the experts of whatever it is to source the knowledge of what goes into the courses. I've always said I don't want to just pull ideas out of my ass and pretend that that's the right way to go forward. I literally want to speak to the people who actually know what they're doing and turn that information into something we can push out to everyone.
Well,
one thing that was missed with the mission system, the certification system does play a crucial role in it. To accept some of these missions, you will need the certifications to go along with them. So we aren't just saying, oh, hey, look, there's a Pegasus out there. Let's go get it. You have to at least have some knowledge and certification level to get to that point. Or if it's a TNI related mission, you have to have the fueling, the cargo certifications to possibly do some of those missions. It's not a quote-unquote requirement, but it is a requirement in the sense of we will choose people with certifications over people who do not have the certifications.
And this is for Imperium sanctioned missions specifically.
That's correct, yes. Only Imperium sanctioned missions.
Depending on the level of security and whatnot.
Unless Kron is doing something else with it.
Well, as far as implementation goes, it's most likely that certification is only going to be used in the sanctioned missions. There's no reason why it can't be used by everyone. If Joe Bloggs wants to set up a mission and he only wants people to join who have certified bog standard pilot, as an example.
Can I cut in here?
Yep.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is pretty much user selectable. Basically, Imperium is probably going to use it for the vast majority of its missions. But at the same time, there's no reason, if it exists within the mission system, if we manage to get it working, I can't see any reason why we wouldn't. But given all those ifs, then there's no reason why we couldn't give people the option of requesting somebody who's a qualified, I don't know, if the Idris pilot's off with an illness, then they could probably put a mission out and say, we need somebody who can pilot an Idris. Or conversely, if you're jumping online, none of your mates are online, and you want to find a job, you can have a look for things that specifically relate to the things that you're interested in.
As much as possible, at least as far as mission system is concerned, I'll try and get as many of the tools in the hands of as many of the users as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're setting up a mission, you're going to be having to go through 5 pages of blurb to fill it out. The basic mission will just be about 5 or 6 inputs, if that, and that's it. You have a mission and people can join it. If you want to go and fill out the entire form like you would have to do with an Imperium sanction mission, there's nothing to stop you from doing that. You can go into as much or as little detail as you like. The whole intention is to try and get people to set up a mission and to get into a group and to do things together. And the lower barrier of entry that we can make, the better.
Simple. Less is more.
Yep.
There is actually a really good question in chat. It came from Jam2 for you, Kron. For members who want to learn how to help with tech for the fleet, and they want to, I guess, self-teach themselves, what would be the best way for them to help?
I'm not the best person to ask because most of the basis of my knowledge came from university. So I don't consider myself as self-taught as I know nothing about this subject. Let's pick up a book and start reading. I'm not sure where you'd have to go to learn things like that because my education came from a uni.
I would say that Code Academy is pretty good. I've been on Code Academy a lot.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Code
YouTube,
Academy,
you can teach you anything.
Yeah, that too.
Yep. No, I wouldn't disagree with either of that. If we want to make that question a little bit more general and how anyone can help with tech, send us bug reports. Suggest features. If a button's in the wrong place or if it doesn't work, let us know. One of the main blockers we have for fixing things or for changing them if they're broken is if we don't know if they're broken, they don't get fixed. So just let us know if you don't like the way something looks, or if you suggest a different way of doing something. We've got a channel on Discord. You can chuck a comment in there. There's a ticketing system on Portal. You can send us something through there as well. Just get in contact and just say, this shit ain't right, fix it. Unless you're Kilroy, in which case I don't care.
Lol.
None of us care if it's Kilroy.
No, pretty much.
All right, gentlemen. So with that, we have reached the end of our time here. And thank you, Warwolf, Kron, and Trophius, for spending some time with your fleet. It's really good of you to do so.
Thank you, Juntao. Can I just say you're looking particularly handsome today, pal?
This is every day.
Stuck up.
It's like every fucking day. Shit never changes.
You're a fucking mess and you know it.
I am a complete disaster, honestly. This is all a facade. The green screen works magic. Just magic. And the hat.
Getting a few pounds off you as well.
It does, yeah. All right, so where was I in this debacle of everything that is everything? Yes. So we're going to go again and do a couple videos and set up for the next segment, which I believe is intelligence, diplomacy, and human resources, the three most exciting divisions that won't tell you a damn thing.
Right, I think it's time for me to go for a nap then.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say thanks to all our members. Cheers for your constant support and your patience, and hopefully this year is the year of 3.0 and Star Citizen.
Yep, and if you want to learn more, where do they go?
StarCitizenBase.com.
Is it up? Is it down?
You're right. Ask Trophius. He has all the answers. All right, and with that, we're going to get the hell out of here, and we will be back. Thank you very much.
Ta-da.
mean? So am I speaking of it? Yes.
Oh, they can probably hear us right now, Shane.
Yes, they can. Because why? Because we're professionals.
Because we're professionals. Absolutely.
All right, so before we kick into this, I just want to say I saw the raid going on. Thank you, Board Gamer. Welcome to Imperium _SC. And yeah, I've met him.
You sound so thrilled, eh?
I met him. He's a good dude. You know, I don't know what you want me to jump up and down and say, oh my God, fucking Board Gamer's here. Holy shit, I'm fucking internet famous. Jeez, woo! No, he's cool. He's a cool
better.
cat.
That's better.
We've sat down and had a nice discussion on the base radio SCB roundtable. So he's a cool cat. He's got his shit together. So, and I appreciate him. All the content that he drives for Star Citizen is good for the community. So thank you. And with that, welcome to the fourth block of the Imperium 2017 year in review. I am still Juntao. I'm still in the same fucking seat doing the same shit for like hours at a time. To my side here is Homeless Walrus representing the Diplomacy Division. What up, yo?
How goes it?
It goes. Down in the dungeon. Ostia. Again. This dude's like everywhere.
Hey, yo. Yeah.
Ostia represents the Redacted Division. And moving on is my buddy Shane, the Shovel Simulator King, right there, representing the HR Division. How's that going for you, by the way? Are your arms tired from digging that shit so much? Oh, that's right. You're both doing it. Oh, Diplomacy and HR are busy in Shovel Simulator at the moment anyway, so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a full panel of redacted information, so...
No, that's not necessarily true.
Don't ask. No
yeah,
questions.
no. I'm going to totally...
Zero questions.
I'm totally going to put you on the spot, dude. Totally put you on the spot. Here is a great question, right? And this is a long-ass post, but this is also from Wifsha. So this is an interesting question, and I would like to hear your answer on this. What is the ethical paradigm of the intelligence division? And I won't read the second part of the question because I know the answer to that. Well, actually, I will. And we'll just tie it all into one similar question. Does intelligence gathering rely strictly on in-game approaches, or do we include infiltration of other orgs? Now, how the hell is he going to answer that, Wifja? I mean, seriously. Yeah, you know what? We have spies everywhere.
Well, let me put it like this. You're obviously, and he actually, Wifya clarified this comment too in his question. He said it was inspired based on the wacky world of EVE Online,
right?
And the crazy stories you hear that happen in that game. And I guess the answer is there are lines that shouldn't be crossed. And I'd like to think that we won't have any reason to cross those lines. But please don't give us a reason to cross those lines. But essentially, you do what you need to do to make sure that, Imperium has the best chance of success. And that the opposite of true for the people who, would oppose that ideal, not that we're looking to do harm to other orgs. That's absolutely not the case. We're just looking out for our own interests first.
That's very political of you. You should be making a speech in front of the United Nations with that.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've heard that speech at the United Nations, actually. Recently. But anyways, not to get political, because that's not what we're here to do. So, yeah. That's absolutely a great answer on why intelligence exists in the first place. So, yeah, to put Shane on the spot, this is an interesting question here. As the PU further develops and players begin to return or enlist with Imperium, how do you how will you measure and meet the demands of moderation? And that's moderation's always a hot topic, right?
Well, you don't want to be seen as over-moderating people. You want to make sure the people are still following the rules and the high standards we put on our members. When it comes to people coming back, it all depends on the number of reports we get from people. To be honest, we could have loads of people come back and no reports, depending on how well people are behaved in terms of the rule set. If they're causing drama, being dicks, there'll be more reports, and more reports means more people will have to deal with. And if there is always going to be a lot of reports, obviously we're just going to need more manpower, or be strict on our rules.
And what is the overarching rule for Imperium members to follow when interacting with Star Citizen in general?
What do you mean? You're talking about Rule 1? Rule 1. Alright. Rule 1 of Imperium is don't be a dick, don't start drama. It's simple to follow.
And what happens if you can't control yourself and you just naturally have to be a dick and start drama?
Well, it looks like you won't be able to stay in Imperium for long, and your membership will be terminated.
And it's pretty simple. So remember that, kids. Don't be a dick. When you're upset about something, go find a quiet corner to give yourself a timeout. You see what I did to Astia. I put him in the corner. He needed a timeout.
Yeah, I don't like the corner. I don't want to go back there. Sorry, it's hard time focusing. Now I realize what I was doing to Core's poking me like 6 times in a row. Pop-ups all over my screen.
It's intentional.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that's, that's actually a really good clarification. For those who haven't read the Code of Conduct, please go read the Code of Conduct. It's not complicated, and it's really important for us to conduct ourselves in a way that is, I don't want to say becoming of the org, because I honestly, Imperium is just an organization in Star Citizen. It's nothing, groundbreaking. It's a group of people with like-minded interests, so just treat everybody with respect, and it's a non-issue.
There is an uprising in the chat here. Hashtag make Shane's bed. It's a real Shane.
I told these guys to tidy up, but fucking whatever.
That's so good.
Oh, Lord.
Can we put together a Kickstarter?
Kickstarter?
Get someone over there
to make my bed.
clean his bed.
We'll get some maids over there, help him out. Oh, that's good shit. Well, luckily the sun's going down on Homeless Walrus, because when he first joined, that shit was right in his eyes, and he was like, "Oh, I can't see the screen." It was crazy. So, on to you, young man. This is a interesting question. Based on your experiences with other games or in real life, or just your best guesses, how do you expect the diplomatic ties we've cultivated so far will change upon the release of Star Citizen? That's a difficult question.
I mean, it's a reasonable question, though. I can definitely understand why it would have been asked, because ultimately, with Star Citizen being the game that it is, in development for as long as it has been, there's a lot of changing variables that we'll have to take into account. Diplomacy will have to take into account to ensure that we can do our job effectively. Now, diplomacy at its base is essentially, being Imperium's method of reaching out to other organizations and determining whether they're friendly, hostile, or otherwise. And our base job is always going to remain the same. No matter what variables are thrown at us, it's always going to remain that same job to just determine, what's out there, basically. So, in that regard, I don't imagine that our role will change too much in the future. We'll have more mechanics to play with. We'll have more, variables thrown in the mix. But I think, as it stands, diplomacy, we have our methods down. We carry it out as best we can, and we know what we have to do. And I think we're in a pretty good position to do those things.
Foxchart says, we're losing allies, and we will be booted from Pact until we #make Shane's bed. So Shane's going to get up and do something. What is he going to do? Is he? He's gonna make his
Shane
bet.
needs to go make his bet on stream right now.
He just did. That's fucking glorious. I love this org. Oh my god.
Oh my lord, yes.
Thank you,
and we're
Shane.
gonna have this forever too.
You just saved the Imperium diplomatic ties to a multitude of organizations.
Diplomacy division thanks you, Shane.
Yes, absolutely. That's good
Yes,
shit.
Shane.
So a follow-up on the diplomacy tip is how active do you see other organizations in the diplomacy realm, and how receptive are they to having conversations, whether they're, pro or anti large org or whatever?
So that's a pretty good question. It kind of depends on the org. We've reached out to more than a couple different organizations, quite a few organizations, and we've seen even just some large organizations that just aren't interested in diplomacy at this stage of development. Just because they just think there's too many things liable to change and they just don't want to deal with it at this point, which is understandable. And we see small groups that are very interested in engaging in diplomacy at this point in development. And it really just depends on how the group wants to handle themselves, basically. So typically larger groups will be a little more receptive. That's kind of the general trend I've noticed. But generally speaking, it's kind of it just depends on the group, really. So.
Maybe it depends on their manpower too. I mean,
yep, definitely.
If you think about Imperium, and this is just insight into the organization itself, Imperium is pretty large. Okay, there's no question. Everybody knows it's a large organization, but it also has, I don't want to say a ridiculous amount, but a large amount of people that are willing to contribute their time and their talent to benefit the org. So maybe that's a differentiating factor that Imperium has over some of the other orgs, is they just don't have the structure that gets the membership involved in various roles that allows them to do such things like diplomacy.
That's absolutely true. I've come in contact with, even before my time in Imperium, I did diplomacy for my previous organization. And even with them, I noticed that even for some larger organizations, we're talking like 1,000+ members, you'd expect there to be an active user base, but some organizations are just, they're a little more interested in figuring things out when the game comes along, and so they don't really have systems in place that Imperium might have to keep those members engaged in the community. And without that community present, it's actually pretty difficult to do your job as a diplomat, because there's not much of a community to go and engage with. And so you might get a diplomatic response from their leadership or something, but other than that, there's not too much to be done. So I think Imperium's way of doing things, keeping the community involved, is a very positive way of making sure that we're on our toes and able to carry out what we need to do.
Absolutely. And then as far as intelligence goes, does intelligence play a role in diplomacy at all?
That's a double-ended question, isn't it?
Yes, it does. There are. There they go. There they go. Anyway, dogs are going wild.
You're not a robot?
Don't you hear? Those are the dogs.
Oh, those are the dogs. Oh, he's a real person. Holy hell, he's got dogs.
So, yeah. Basically, the way that works is with some orgs, we share privileged information. Most of the time, it's actually membership information. If members who might have had a bad experience or perhaps good experiences have left Imperium for other orgs, sometimes those orgs will contact our diplomacy team. They'll get information from HR guys, and we're willing to provide it to a certain extent on how that member was as a individual during his time here, and just to give our friends heads up on potential people who might be joining their orgs. In other situations, there is intelligence sharing between myself and the intelligence division and other intelligence collection divisions of other orgs, and so we do that from time to time, specifically when we have other players trying to create problems or infiltrate an org, and if they don't do a very good job of it, it's pretty easy to find them. And generally speaking, we share that information with others if they ask for it, or if we feel that it's relevant to our allies to let them know if it's pertinent to them. If it's, for example, a member who was here first and then decided it didn't work out for them in Imperium, and so they try it in another org. So those are the cases in which we share information in diplomatic settings.
And you find that that helps our overall stance with other organizations that were not capable, but that we're willing to share at least a limited amount of information with them. It helps with our, I don't want to say reputation because that's pretty cheesy, but that's basically what it is.
No, well, that's what it is. I mean, you're building a relationship with another org, you know, in the way that you deal with them, and so, you know, you want to do the best you can with these orgs. So, you know, giving them information on a potential new member that could be an issue in the future is always good. You know, generally speaking, what goes across, and I'm sure HR and diplomacy can attest to this, but when an org requests information on a member who's been removed from Imperium forcibly or has left, we give them information and we say, you know, do with this information as you wish. Absolutely recruit the member if you want to. We're not telling you what to do. We're just telling you our experiences with this member. And generally speaking, they're very appreciative, and they thank us for, you know, the information, and, you know, whatever happens, there happens. And generally speaking, you know, members don't generally change that much. So when you see one go from one org to another org, you see members that org hop, or you see members that you know, basically whatever happens here will happen in the next org and the next one after that. So it's generally helpful information, and I'm sure you know, orgs appreciate that, and we appreciate it when other orgs do it for us.
Okay. Well, I just want to point out to you, for the stream's sake, that because you're leaning so far back from your microphone, it picks up all the ambient noise in your room because of auto voice gain control. Thank you very much for not being a lazy bum. That's great. See, and that's one of my FCs. Yeah. This is I thought this was an interesting question for human resources. And obviously it's prefaced by Imperium is a gigantic org with a vast number of members. However, a large majority of those members, like every other organization in Star Citizen, are generally in hibernation right now. They're inactive. When will Imperium begin waking people up, and how do you plan on accomplishing this? And is it Imperium's policy that inactive members will eventually be cut post-launch?
Well, for the first part about contacting inactive members, we've actually already sent out PMs to people who are inactive, just to get a response that says, hey, hello, we're still here, we're doing stuff, game nights, blah, 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 trying to get more people engaged and active. But it's all relative to game development. We don't control that, and until, you know, 3.0 is out now, but it needs to be a bit more stable for some people to really engage with it. So actually, recently we had someone way back in the system where members actually used to be assigned to divisions. So people had like military tags, trade industry tags, and he was wondering where that went. And I was like, wow, you've been away for a long time, I better fill you in. I mean, we do have the wiki to fill people in about this new information, how Imperium's changed, but HR is always here willing to tell you this information and get you up to date on things. Now, what was the second part of that question? Was that to do with cutting people from...
Yes,
like,
as for a level of inactivity.
Well, as I'm aware, Subcommand doesn't want us to cut anyone out just yet. I mean, if they come back but don't really take a complete active part in the community, they're still taxpayers in Cause eyes. You know, he wants all the money for himself. For his
nice. Yeah, so he can buy Big Benny's machines.
I mean, if you want to contribute,
But I mean, do you see at a point like this is going to date me, but way back in the day, right, when I was running large raiding guilds in World of Warcraft, you would have this roster of a huge amount of players that just in that game you could actually see the last login date of any given character, and if it surpassed a certain amount of time, we would start purging our roster to keep it fresh and up to date. Do you guys see that as possibly being a thing? And obviously, because we're in the stage of development and the game isn't live, you don't want to start cutting people, because there is a huge potential that once the game does get fleshed out completely, that these people are like, oh shit, I can play this now? Oh, I'm in an org? What the hell happened?
Yeah, well, actually, that's a question as well, designed not just at HR but subcommand, as it's a hefty decision whether to kick members out of the guild. We would have to consider, when the game comes out, have they heard about it? Can we make sure they hear about it? But it all depends whether we want to artificially inflate our numbers by inactive members. But that's a long way after actually really start thinking about it, to be honest.
I'll tell you right now, if you looked at active members versus inactive members and inflated numbers, like, the largest org would probably be like 300 members strong at any given moment in time. Yeah, so there are no plans for mass expulsion of inactive members. The game, you can hardly play the game at more than 25 FPS right now, so it'd be ridiculous to, say anything like that. That's not the case. We'll see what happens when the game comes live, but I don't expect to see anything like that happening. Even the most inactive member, remember, we all have to, pay a small tax to keep, Imperium funded. Make sure we have enough for, war efforts or expansion efforts and all that stuff. So even members who don't do a lot can contribute by, a little bit of taxation, and that helps. So right now we're not looking at a minimum activity rating, or you don't have to be top 100 arena commander or anything like that right now. So
but it helps.
We'll look at. Yeah, it helps.
It helps.
So we'll look at that in the future, but we understand the state of the game right now. It's not even a question in terms of if we would be willing to cut people right now, though. So no. I'm still laughing. They clipped this thing of you making your bed, Shane. That's going up on YouTube.
Holy hell.
Forever.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
For those
of you who are wondering about taxes, yes, 110%, and 99,000% for Trade Mogul and the Day Traders unit.
Yeah, and 1% to make sure my bed's tidy.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need
exactly.
bed tidying tax as well. To make
oh
sure
my god.
Fund his maids.
And just for those of you who aren't aware, Trade Mogul is starting a new unit. What did he call it? The Bathrobe Traders. And they're going to just stay in Terra with no spacesuits. You're not allowed to own a ship, and you're just going to do trading via your Mobi-Glass through the entirety of the game, dressed in a bathrobe.
Liquid assets only.
Yes, liquid assets only. Hell yeah. So.
You get in game, and you just sell all your packages immediately.
Yeah, and you use those credits to reinvest and capitalize on the market. It's going to be good shit. So here is a crazy ass question for intelligence. Will you meta game or even use blackmail or gray area in real life? Really?
I'm going to say no. And then if I lie to you, then I lied to you.
I like it.
Everything I said could be a lie up to this point, guys. So think about that. I'm already blackmailing like 10 people in real life. We're already blackmailing Shane in real life right now. Basically. Like we're gonna put this thing up on anyway, don't worry.
And then we'll go back to Walrus, and this question here asks, how do you think that your jobs as diplomats are going to change with the final release of the persistent universe? And I assume that means like when the game is actually complete and there's thousands and thousands of players and there's already tens of thousands of orgs, but
when that fabled day comes and Chris Roberts finally declares the just the universe finished. Well, I imagine it'll be nice to actually do some diplomacy on more tangible sense. Right now we're just kind of talking to each other. Down the line, there's gonna be a lot more of things like trade negotiations. With the new planetary system, we could see things like border disputes, territory issues. A whole bunch of things that we could, get into. Diplomacy could deal with in a much more tangible sense. So that's definitely kind of a different brand of diplomacy than what we've been doing right now, which is kind of just, hey, we exist, you guys exist. Let's talk for a little bit and let's get some relationships going. Which is what we're doing right now, and it's going all right. It's good that diplomacy has work to do, but I think once that persistent universe comes out, our workload is going to increase quite a bit. So that'll be exciting for diplomacy, and I think it'll work out well, and it'll be good.
Yeah, we already have examples of this taking place. I mean, it's really early days, but you just from this example, you'll see how it can kind of just grow from there. People send us messages like, "This player killed me and camped me in the persistent universe from Imperium. I want to make a formal complaint against him." And that member or that person, we normally say piss off or something like that. And I probably shouldn't say this; it's not very diplomatic. But Walrus and Chimera can clean up after me, I guess.
Hello.
Essentially, it's not even a game. This is a sandbox. We allow our members to basically do as they wish in the sandbox. Of course, we have a code of conduct. Imperium is not a pirate org. We'll apply these ideologies in game when it's time, and HR will be sure to make sure everyone knows when that time is. But until then, we basically say, well, I'm sorry that you got killed. Just try logging into another server, I guess, and we'll try and ask that member, hey man, like if you could not maybe like spawn camp people, that's not ideal, But basically, there's really people already complain about this sort of thing, and so it's going to be a bigger and bigger thing as you get more and more people into servers. One group against other groups, more persistence of assets that make playing the game mean something. You're not just in a session for 30-40 minutes. This will cause more conflict between orgs, will cause more conflict between players, and so Diplomacy Division already deals with that, and that'll be fun. It's not really fun. None of our jobs are fun. The three guys here, all of our jobs are actually very boring. And don't join our divisions, We don't need any more help. I'm just kidding, actually.
We do.
Yeah. HR and diplomacy would love everyone's help if you feel like you're a decent human being. That's actually a requirement, by the way. It's a legitimate requirement.
Yeah, so with that, as we close out this block in the next couple of minutes here, that is actually the case, especially with diplomacy. If anybody is familiar with the way that the org structure was working in the past, I was actually a diplomatic officer alongside of Chimera and Ryelfar, but I have since relegated my duties as a diplomat and moved on to trying to ramp up the media division, so as Core mentioned earlier in the stream, so we could get more of the forward-facing aspect of this organization put out to the community and try to grow the roles, because ultimately, as we have had discussions in the past, the ideal thing for Imperium going forward is going to be to get bigger. We don't want to stagnate, and if we're not presenting ourselves in a manner that is appealing to players, and we can't grow our member base, then that's not a good thing for this organization. So, yeah, I have made that transition, and hopefully I don't fuck it up, because I was told don't fuck up.
That's true. We tell that to everybody.
In its own way, public relations or media is kind of its own kind of diplomacy, isn't it, Junto?
It is in a sense, and I think that's why that not that I was pressured to do this, but I was there along a bunch of ongoing discussions and my desire to actually do these kind of things for the org, and I thought it was really important. They said, okay, I said this in the earlier block, they said, okay, smartass, that's a great idea, you own it, make it happen. At least that's what Ostia told me in private, and I just aired our laundry in public.
That's true.
It is true.
Dirty laundry is out there now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. Sorry, I was a little distracted. I'm just
that's
including this this giveaway. So
the waffle.
The waffle.
The waffle. Giving it a waffle.
Rawl 22. So, congratulations. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning into this segment, I guess.
Absolutely. And I wonder how long Pagan's been in chat, because it's the first time I've seen him pop up. But Pagan, if you aren't aware that we blasted a video of you blowing Belial's face off on Correa earlier today. It was pretty epic. It made me feel good to watch you kill him. Just saying.
Yeah. When we upload this, you'll be able to see that embarrassment. Belial is like the worst military officer. Getting blown up by Pagan. A lesser life form.
Okay. So with that, we're gonna close out this segment right now, and I am going to play a bit of media propaganda that I found very interesting, and maybe you guys will enjoy it as much as I did. I'm not sure. I was kind of asked not to do this, but I'm gonna fucking do it anyway because that's what I do. So
you
with
liar.
that,
you liar. I approve this.
He did approve
I
it.
approve this.
So with that, Ossia, Shane, Walrus, thank you very much for your time. Imperium appreciates all your efforts. You guys are all, if Zeus Omega was here, which concerns me that he's not, you are next level fucking awesome. All three of you. And yeah. Say bye-bye, guys.
Sounds good. See ya.
Bye. I'm gonna mess with my dad now.
Okay.
I hope.
So you saw we're bigger than everyone else, and you want to join Imperium. I like the way you're thinking, so how about I tell you a little bit about us? First off, our membership standards are designed to make us one of the largest groups in Star Citizen. We are looking for anyone willing to do what we'll tell them to and follow our Byzantine command structure designed to show off how smart the leadership is. We distribute these professions between different divisions. So let's start off with the one everyone thinks will be awesome at, Combat Ops. If you're all for leaving nothing but burning carcasses and following whatever contrived strategy those of charge of theory crafted, this one's for you. But what if you're into controlling of resource nodes, markets, and trade routes, or just being told what to do while doing dull logistic work? Well, the guys over in the Trade and Industry Division will be more than happy to make you their bitch. And last but not least, if you aren't afraid of the deep, dark depths of space, and you love to find hidden mysteries among the stars, the Exploration Division has no use for you. We can't have people thinking they're capable of independent thought. With like-minded captains with same level of commitment as you'll never be too far from someone who will panic at the first sign of trouble. And what if I want to be a pirate, you say? Well, sorry. With a military theoretically second to none, and mandatory voluntary training programs for all the professions we think the game will have, there will be no room for anyone operating on their own. Nor will we stand idly by while our members and friends try to have fun outside the rules and regulations of our protocol. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you feel like you want to join, just remember, if you've got a pulse, you've got a place.
Stars. They've become such a familiar backdrop of our day-to-day life that it's easy to forget what they mean. That one. That little dot right there. That's Bremen. This one over here, that's Saul. Think about that. Just a handful of these dots represents the breadth of human expansion. Another handful, and you've got Banner, Jean, even found dual systems. That's everything we've ever known. Every piece of art, every life, ever, right there. In 2 handfuls of dots. And that means there's so much more to find. Behind every one of those points of light is a story waiting to be discovered. Now, in our distant past, it was the province of governments to explore and understand space. A simple launch took resources and money beyond the capacity of even the largest companies. But then RSI introduced the Zeus. And suddenly regular people were able to explore our solar system, allowing an unprecedented amount of knowledge to be discovered. But Nick Croshaw discovered the first jump point. A modified scanner array that allowed him to search for jump points were far too expensive for the civilian market. But once that technology was refined and open to the public, what happened? That's right. Era of expansion that led us from this to this.
All right, we're going in early.
All right.
Because I'm out of video footage.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's going to have to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the closing segment of the Imperium 2017 Year in Review. Very, very exciting stuff. Congratulations to all of the gift card winners up to this point. With that, this is a very special announcement, and yes, that was Relum's video, and thank you, Relum, for being a fucking great content creator. You have created some really good stuff, not only for Imperium, but for Star Citizen in general, including being the manager of the base radio. So he's an all-around good guy for a Dutch guy, so no offense, Core.
Yeah. I actually wanted to say thank you to too, because we wouldn't be streaming at this level without Relum, because he taught you, I'm sure, a ton. He's come up with a ton of tools that we can use and visuals that we can use, and so he's actually even responsible for the main video on the Year in Review webpage. I put that in the report already, but he did a really beautiful time lapse, and should get credit for that. It's in the Year in Review media report.
Yeah, absolutely, and he has inspired tons of other content creators on YouTube to follow his lead and create time lapses of their gameplay, along with crazy ass photo spheres that he's been making that made him like an MVP or whatever the hell on Citizens of the Stars and all that stuff. Relum's got a lot of skill, and we appreciate all his effort for sure. So with that, I need to make an announcement. Obviously, you could see in chat there is a giveaway going on right now that will end at the end of this show for, is it an Aegis ship? I think it's an Aegis ship, isn't it? I don't know. Whatever it is,
yes,
it's a hammerhead. It's a gun.
Hammerhead.
Aegis hammerhead. So, yeah, I'm like kind of saddened by that giveaway, actually, right now that I think about it.
Well, you can still cancel it, I guess.
Yeah,
no one
you
can still too upset.
No one's gonna freak out.
Too upset,
right? Baited you all in, and I'll pull that shit like nothing.
Yeah, the giveaway word should have been rigged, because that's what it's gonna be now.
It is going to be rigged. So this is a little bit backwards, because Jintao's been the host, but he's also the media division officer, newly appointed, as kind of mentioned in the last segment. And it wouldn't be fair if we did all the rest of the divisions and didn't talk to media a little bit about what they're doing this year, what their goals are for the new year. So, that said, what are your goals for the new year for the media team, Jintao? This is pretty beautiful. Can we expect more of this?
As far as like the Twitch channel goes, it is absolutely my intention to try to grow this channel in whatever ways possible. Like I mentioned previously, if you have any interest in streaming Star Citizen, I would love to talk to you, because I'm looking for people who are willing to stream Star Citizen gameplay on this channel in particular. We pointed it out previously. There's a huge differentiating factor between what Imperium's doing with their media and what some of the other organizations do with their media. And in order to participate in Imperium's media division, you have to be rather selfless. There's no money to be made. You dedicate your time and your talent, and you better the org. So that's where that's going. And I guess I could surmise that by saying I'm looking for selfless individuals to dedicate their time and their talent to streaming in Star Citizen gameplay on this channel. And if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. Aside from that, media has been really brought to the forefront. I mentioned it in the Media Year in Review. Media can have the greatest impact for the growth of Imperium. And why is that? Infographics, YouTube content, streaming content, Imperium Academy and media are going to have to be very closely tied together, because we have been tasked with producing most of the visual aspects of the content, as Academy officers will develop the coursework, media will develop the delivery method of that coursework, whether that be through slideshows or videos or what have you. So that's what I'm up to. What about you guys? What are you up to? How are you going to help media? How are we going to make Imperium great again?
Good question.
That
question
is
that triggers me greatly.
I know it does.
Because I want to go on the record. Imperium is the greatest org in the Star Citizen verse, and if you don't believe me, fuck you, and you're wrong. Because there are. Trust me, it is literally my job to know what other orgs are doing. And of the large orgs, Star Citizen or Imperium is the most active and the most. I don't know. I think we built the most equity in terms of regular interaction with our community over the long haul. And so, if you find a better org, I would encourage you to show it to me because I would love to join it.
Lol.
But you won't. And I'm very proud of all the members who contribute on a regular basis because they're the people. It's not like core or myself. We just organize things, you know. But it's the individuals like Juntao and the guys in the media team, the guys who make up the divisional specialists, and not even just specialists, but members. All the members we use their video recorded footage of for all these intermissions. People who just come on, play the game, take screenshots, donate, buy swag on the store. Like, yeah, it's Imperium is the best. And I'd like to just say publicly, I definitely messed up and gave someone a random gift card because I was trying to get prepared and I gave a random guy a gift card. And I didn't give it to Raul, and so Raul, don't worry, we'll get you sorted out. We have spare gift cards for you.
He messaged me just now. I was like, no, you don't need me. You need the other.
So Raul, you will get a $25 gift card, and to the I gave it to another Imperium member another gift card who I thought there was a name mix-up. So yeah, good job, Ostia, but it's okay. But yeah, we have a different raffle going on right now, which is pretty awesome, and we haven't really discussed it yet. But Juntao, in all his generosity and his love for this community, has offered up a Aegis Hammerhead, which is pretty friggin' awesome. It is worth $650 US. That is probably somebody's rent,
Is it?
So that's pretty awesome.
Actually, it's a war bond, so it's actually only worth $550. So if you're gonna melt it, then it's only $550.
Only.
Well, I'm sure whoever wins it is going to be extremely hyped.
See, I think there's some people in the chat who don't even want to win it now. Like, they're just like, no, the no, that's not worth my time.
Right, exactly. It's only $550. So if you would like to retract from the giveaway at this point, we can always remove your name or all of your names from the list if you so choose. But if you choose to participate in the raffle, there will definitely be an end result that somebody just won a pretty cool looking set of pixels.
And it's pixels I don't have. I really wish I could participate, but I cannot.
You got money, don't you? I'm so looking for a video. I just can't find it. God damn it. Oh, Lord have mercy. How long do we have? We got time. I gotta scour YouTube and find a video.
So, essentially, this is the last little segment for to cover media and to cover the command stuff we want to talk about for the new year. And I think we kind of covered it a little bit in the first segment. And I did want to get to a few of the Q&A questions because we felt that some questions were a little too big for just one division to answer, and so we figured we'd kind of do the best we could to give you a proper answer. And so some of them are, let's go back to them. I'll hit them here while Juntao's looking. The first one is from Wifa. Abstractly, what criteria will be used to select Imperium's home base, and then he qualifies that statement with, bringing up land claims, and has that impacted our notions of base building or how Imperium resources will be allocated, space bases versus land bases, and all that stuff. And I'm assuming Core has something to say about that.
I
do.
Nah.
He has something to say about literally everything, so...
I do. But when you say it like that, I'm thinking it has to be something specific that I have to say, and now I'm like,
What is the criteria that we would use to select our home base? That is the specific question.
Here's the problem, right? We were given rudimentary information on what the systems are going to be, and we were given rudimentary information on how those planets and what kind of imports and exports they're going to have, and wares and trade and all that, but they're not exact, and this leaves us with a small problem. And the stupid fucking alarm won't stop ringing.
Pizza's done.
No joke. That burned like 2 hours ago. Remember? I food. I didn't want to bring that up again. So anyway, one of the biggest challenges that we're running into when it comes to finding out what those criteria are for where we're going to set up and what we're going to do with it is that we don't currently know what will be the most efficient, what will be the fastest, which resources are going to be more valuable than others, what our interests are going to be, how close to a front line we should be, or where we will be based on jump points that are still unfound and undiscovered. Things like this are going to factor very heavily into where Imperium is going to set up, what they're going to do. What we're going to do everything. But where we're going to set up will factor very heavily into trying to figure out. It's unsavable. It's dead, Krav. It's black. Yeah, we need more exact information before we can make that decision, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. The second question is... Let's see. I gotta pick out the actual... You know what? It's pretty much similar. It's from Foxchart. It says the CIG star map has 74 star systems listed on it. Of these, only 17 or 23% are listed as unclaimed/developing. In Discovery space, there is no real nullsec in the classical online space. This would force all non-UEE aligned orgs and players into a few unconnected systems surrounded by UEE space. Will Imperium join this exodus, which may look like the Oklahoma land claim, or will we, until further systems are discovered, move to unclaimed space? If we do move to one of the known unclaimed systems, will we continue to evaluate the situation to see if a further move to a new unclaimed system is more profitable?
Well, the idea behind oh shit, did the stream just go down?
Nope.
Interesting. My page just reset. Okay, so the idea behind whether or not we're going to go to unclaimed space and whether or not we're going to go further, those questions are still up for debate. Like, even where we're going to initially set up is still up for debate. Ideally, the way that most of us envision Imperium as a whole is as a completely self-sufficient organization from everyone else, requiring no ties, and basically turning itself into a sovereign state, right? That's kind of the way that we wished we could go. Based on limitations and based on what we can and cannot own, we're going to have to make some sacrifices in that regard. Now, if we can, we'll be completely self-sufficient on our own without any help from bots, from UEE, from other organizations, but it will truly come down to more details. We need more details. Just more details.
Sure, of course. And I think that applies to pretty much most of the questions that we get today. We do our best to plan ahead and to be prepared when the time comes to do a certain thing, whatever it might be. And then, you kind of do have to go with the flow in terms of what Chris is planning, what CIG is planning, and then you adapt. It is what it is. Like, we don't have any org tools outside of a very, very small system that CIG put out like literally 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago.
Hashtag give us Orcs 2.0 already.
Yes, give us Orcs 2.0 already, please. But I mean, we were forced to create our own systems for that, so we'll continue to, act in the same way that we've always been acting since 2012, and it is what it is.
'83. All right. Do we have any more questions or things that we're going to go through?
I think if people want to ask questions in the chat, they can, but not specifically. No. That was the rest of the last of them. I think that were written down ahead of time.
How many minutes do we have left? 15 or 5?
I think
as many as you need.
As many as you really need. This segment doesn't have a limit, really.
So I'm just going to take an opportunity to step in here and reiterate on the very last page of the year in review. If you have not read the year in review, the very last page is very important. It's probably the most important part of the entire year in review presentation. And it is to say thank you to the Imperium community, because it's so fucking cliche, and Chris Roberts and Sandy Gardner say it at the end of every fucking ATV. Without you, this would be just nothing. It would be bullshit. It would be all of us just whatever. I don't even know if I would be here. So, it's very important that you understand that we appreciate the membership. And I will say, especially those that participate in the Discord and in the TeamSpeak, because we have some really engaging conversations. We have good gameplay sessions. We have a lot of fun together. And I appreciate that. It's good shit. While we're sitting here waiting for further gameplay mechanics to develop in the game to get more fleshed out and shit, I've never been bored with this organization. There's always something to do. There's always someone to do it with. People are realistically really good to hang out with. And if you're not really good to hang out with, like was said in the last BOC with HR, you'll be removed, which is nice. So I appreciate everybody's efforts, even those that, show up and do Shovel Simulator 2017.
Yeah. We put that thank you page up there as a general thank you to everybody, and we kind of made a few more specific recollections in the FC report this year. Like, this community is absurd. How many gaming rigs have we funded? Like, real gaming rigs have we funded in the past? Well, since we've been around, at least one a year, it seems like, Yeah,
I'd say we're at about 7 almost.
Yeah.
That's not to say all the individual components we sent out.
Yeah, that doesn't count the crowdsourcing of parts either. And we've received over $1,000 of donations this year to keep servers up and running. And not to mention the time it takes. If we had to pay our tech team or we had to pay our moderation team like RSI does, it would be unfathomable how much it would cost. And people should realize that and just know that we appreciate it. And we appreciate the members too, because they make it fun, right? The guys you find in TeamSpeak playing the game, you'll find someone all the time, or you'll find a group of us there all the time. It's nice, sometimes you want to relax, and we enjoy the privileges of being able to go and hang out with all you guys at any given time and play Star Citizen or get shot in the face by Zeus or, whatever. Talk random bullcrap.
So
yeah.
Austin already mentioned it, that we've received over $1,000 in donations this year to help cover server costs and other costs that we might incur. Most of the donations still come out of pocket, by the way, just so you guys are aware. Like, this hammerhead is coming out of someone's pocket. But one of the big things that happened this year that hasn't happened previous years is that this year we managed to get just enough donations to pay for an entire year's worth of server costs. last year's worth of server costs. And that was just really fucking amazing. It was one of the first years we didn't have to pay out of pocket to cover those costs. So I wanted to thank everyone from both Gallatin and Fleet Command and the rest of the Imperium leadership. To anyone who donated on the forums, thank you for keeping us alive. The other part I wanted to mention is that, like Jinto and like Ostiev already said, without you, we would all just be sitting in a Discord server with like 20, 30 people, just circle jerking, having fun, playing a different game, right? It is because of you that we take the time to build an insight. It's because of you that we take the time to have to think out how our organization is structured, how many services we want to run, how our portals should be built, whether to run TeamSpeak or Discord or an amalgamation of both, whether or not to use Spectrum, whether or not to... Oh, God. There is such an entire laundry list of decisions that we've had to make over the past couple of years that we've made because we have so many dedicated members and so many people passionate about both Star Citizen and Imperium. It is... Yeah. This is just my way of saying thank you. Thank you for making us who we are.
Yep.
God, I'm gonna fucking cry now.
We're the
Jesus
greatest org in
Christ.
Star Citizen. Straight up. Period. Find another org that does it better than we do, and I'll join that right away with all your taxes in my back pocket. But seriously, yeah, this is the greatest org out there. So if you don't know about us, you can learn more about us. If you're in another org and you're happy with that org, we're cool with that. Get in touch with our diplomacy team. Yeah. Contact us to join in on game days. We do... Oh, that's something we haven't really talked about on the stream at all.
A little bit. We touched on it.
Yeah, like a tiny bit. For those of you who don't know us, you can join us anytime on our game days. We do them once a month, the second last Saturday of the month. You can find it on our events page, imperium.sc/events. And we typically do giveaways close to $50 every single time. And we all get together, a bunch of us, and we play whatever the latest patch or the latest patches. And so we've been playing a lot of 3.0 lately and getting a lot of awesome content. And I'm sure you'll see a couple videos hit the YouTube pretty soon, including this one, recording of this one. So yeah, you should come to those events because they're what make this org go awesome.
Absolutely. And I would just add to that, Imperium is not a closed door situation. We are a community of Star Citizen fans, so we welcome the community of Star Citizen fans, regardless of what org you're in. So if you would like to participate in any of these events, there's a ton of information on imperium.sc. The easiest way to not necessarily get involved with the org, but just to be involved with what the org has going on, you can go to forums.starcitizenbase.com, create an account that will link to our portal, which will give you access to our TeamSpeak via an SCB member, or you can just go to what the hell is the TS address? I can't even remember.
ts.starcitizenbase.com.
So, and you can go there and poke anybody with a little orange tag because they're a member of Human Resources, and you tell them why you're there, and they'll give you permissions to float around specific channels, and you can come hang out with us. You can play Star Citizen, all kinds of shit, So just keep that in mind. I'm well aware that there are people watching right now that are not Imperium members, and we're not looking to snake you from your org and your group of friends and all that stuff. We're looking to make the community better and in turn make Imperium better. And yeah, it's good stuff all the way around.
Yep, absolutely. Like I was saying, if you're in a small org, we have lots of we have good friends between like one that comes to mind. We play a lot during game day with them in the past is Angel of the Warp guys. You know, when I give them a shout out, they've helped train me up for sure when it comes to Star Marine and
Or beat me
we have
down
lots of
for
fun.
sure.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
the only way to learn is to get fucking shit on for like 10 games in a row, and then when you kill one of them, they'll call you a cheater. I'm just kidding. They're good.
Yeah, Nellarat.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah. Anyway, it's yeah, I don't know. Where do you guys want to call it?
We could just sit here in silence for 5 minutes.
I
But,
like that. That sounds
No.
good. We can just look at the thing. Do you want to do it? Want me to close the thing here? We got 90 people on the giveaway for the Hammerhead, so
I bet we do.
yeah,
And
it's wild.
what I wanted to point out is the only 18 people, or I think it's 21 people now, that aren't in it are people who are Imperium leadership. So
Yeah,
Well,
and
yeah, they can't
that's something to keep in mind as well, is the sacrifice that these poor bastards make in order to be an officer or a specialist or a fleet commander or what have you, because you automatically disqualify yourself from any potential gain, you know. And obviously a hammerhead is a potential gain. There's no other way to put it. So, you know, it goes all the way around. So in closing, man, you know, like for Fleet Command, Ostia, Core, Chimera, you know, I know he couldn't be here. He's on like a 24-hour cycle. He's 12 hours off of us. I'm sure he would have liked to have participated in this shit, but his wife, he said, would kill him if he spoke when she was sleeping or something of that nature. So, you know, you guys are all great. Thank you very much. All of the officers. I know that the viewers, you only got to see one participant from every division, but believe me, there are a multitude of people working diligently in every division to try to figure out how we are going to dominate, I guess is a good word. You know,
if I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah.
raise like one funny point, Steph
Okay.
Marster got promoted to officer this week, so he's no longer eligible to win.
and
Poor
Steph.
bastard.
Oh, and
Poor
he is
bastard.
a fucking great guy, and he's super ultra dedicated and super ultra motivated. So anything that I can do to support any of you guys, man, just fucking let me know, you know. And the same thing with the Star Citizen community. If you're a content creator, you know, register on our forums, and you can spam your YouTube content on our forums in the community section all day long. All that stuff. That's what we're all about. Until it's time for us to fight. And then if you're in our way, you will more than likely be vaporized. Just saying.
Someone's gonna clip that, you know.
Yeah, you clip that.
The
I'm
problem
used-
is
Go ahead,
you're
clip
coming
it.
dangerously close to saying greatest ally, worst enemy.
I would never say such a thing.
Good.
That would be you.
Fuck that. I wouldn't say that. I'm not Matani.
Oh,
Okay.
it's time to go.
Okay. All right. Don't summon them, Corey.
Oh shit.
We've kept them away this long. Okay, so I guess we'll do this giveaway thing here. Let me click this thing.
Oh,
Can
my
I do it?
stomach hurts right now. Oh god, you guys are killing me.
Shuntanos. Shuntanos.
Now that's a name I have not heard. So
Same.
hopefully the rules were made clear at the very beginning of this stream that in order to win, you needed to be two things, right? You needed to be following the channel, and you needed to be an Imperium member, because this is not a community giveaway. So what you have to do is, if you're using a different Twitch name than your SCB portal name, you need to get on Discord and PM Ostia, because the only way to win is to verify that you are an Imperium member. And if you are, congratulations. And if you're not, I'm fucking sorry, because I don't recognize your name from anywhere. So we're going to actually just kind of hang out and talk shit until this can be
We will a
verified.
little bit.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Just a little bit of time
to jump on the Discord. Make sure he's there. Send me a message. And what you want to put a timer on? Did he leave the stream? He's not even in the stream anymore right now.
I don't know. I've been busy. I can't. I need one of my moderators that haven't been appointed to moderate.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Where's Wee Hamster when you need him?
The stream. Yeah, he's actually. It says he's a viewer right now, but
Sean Noonan.
Well, I'll tell you.
Hi, Sean.
What. Well, Trophius. First of all, he may be on SCB under another name. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be that. We'll give him a chance to send me a message.
And here is a really pro tip for all Imperium members. Make your fucking handles the same across all platforms. Seriously. It's not that difficult to change your handles across all platforms.
And just as a word of warning, you can't become an Imperium member in 5 minutes, just so you're aware.
Right, because he's scrambling right now to try to find the recruitment process page.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll realize you get stuck on a pending recruit, and that means you're not an Imperium member.
And shouldn't tell your friend Sean Noonan is in the chat.
And Sean is great. For those of you who don't know who Sean Noonan is, he was one of the key developers at CIG that gave us the Star Marine maps. So if you like them, say hi, Sean. And if you don't like them, then he's there for you to brutalize, whatever. I can't save you, Sean. But I've actually been fortunate enough to have discussions with him as well on the Star Citizen Base Roundtable on the base radio. And Sean is a great guy. Has subsequently left CIG for another endeavor, and I wish you well, young man. You were a pleasant conversation to have for sure.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah,
Good
Sean,
luck,
Sean was great.
Giving this guy enough time to
Actually, Sean, he hasn't said shit. Here's a funny point, right? Sean, we played a video earlier in the day of an Imperium game day where I have multiple shots of you getting fucking wrecked by Imperium in Star Marine. Just fucking destroyed, dude. Like, really good. And your name's like in big bold letters, Sean Noonan. Dead right in the mouth. Good stuff. Or Sean Noonan, CIG. Yeah, it was fucking great. And I appreciate all your effort. So,
right, so
Shihami Nami good. Yeah, Hasama de Bigidiba, or whatever the name was, has not responded. So we are re-rolling.
Lorian Zane.
Again, a name we don't recognize.
And again.
Well, they're in the chat this time.
They are.
Yeah, this one's like, oh my god.
Member?
Yeah, that's the question. Hopefully you've been paying attention, because you had like 3 hours to go join Imperium.
You did. Go check, actually.
Obviously, that was not the ultimate point of the raffle, was not to increase the membership. It was to reward the membership. And obviously, this is an Imperium stream, and you are all welcome to participate. But you're not all welcome to win this ship. Because you know why? Because it's mine to do what I want with. So if that triggers you, then you'll have to melt somewhere. Or you could come to Michigan and stay a snowflake, because it's cold as fuck here.
Oh, so you know who Lorian Zane is Low Zone.
Oh, no shit.
Oh!
That's a name I recognize.
I know Low Zone. We've played with him.
Yeah.
That's fancy. All right. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, we really hope you enjoyed the stream. We spent a fair amount of time on it. Well,
Hey.
Juntao spent a fair lot of time on it. And I just want to say, please don't expect the quality of stream that you've seen today. I know it's been amazing, but it's only going to get worse from here. Because this took way too damn long.
It was
the next one's
absolutely
just going to be
brutal.
2 hours of talking, basically.
So congratulations, Low Zone. Big win for you today, buddy. And it's nice to see someone we play with on the reg, win that prize.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Juntao
right there.
won't feel sick to his stomach knowing that he gave it away to somebody who's not even gonna play or doesn't have a PC or doesn't hang out with us.
No,
That's
it's really that's really cool that it goes to somebody that I remember specifically playing with. Now, all you got to do is get your ass in TeamSpeak more often and hang out and shit, and then you'll be official. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been there
Some
for
good
game days.
suggestions. Relum
Yeah.
says, "Why don't we play Star Citizen? Just like follow this up with a Star Citizen stream." That depends entirely on Juntao right now, or you, Relum, if you want to produce. Because I don't know what everyone's got going on, but I'm down to play a
I
little
would
bit.
absolutely appreciate it if Relum would stream to this channel and everybody in Imperium jump on and play some 3.0. My wife came home during the stream, as you've seen. I've been in this room for hours and hours and hours. I need to go eat and all that shit. But I will be more than happy to come back and play Star Citizen with you folks. I think we have an officer meeting today in about 45 minutes. I think we should postpone that, honestly. Can we postpone that officially right
we can
now?
scrub it. It's the
All right.
first of the year, so we can scrub it.
Very good. See, that was easy.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have something in. You know what? How about this? If you're gonna play with us, jump on the Imperium TeamSpeak. The channel will probably go live in 30 minutes, an hour. We'll stream some Star Citizen.
There you go. And in closing, once again, I mean, seriously, thank you to everybody who has contributed to the Oregon 2017. And if you are thinking maybe you would like to contribute, because you probably should, because it's the right thing to do, and we really need your fucking help, come talk to us. Even if it's drawing stick figures on napkins, it would be great, honestly. Okay, guys, let's get the hell out of here. Say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And with that, we're out. See ya! Maybe.
We're probably definitely still on.
To connect you to the people who lived on it.
When I look at a ship, I see a person. Now, I know when people find these wrecks, all they see are mounds of scrap or a payday or whatever. But to me, maybe it was just growing up on a dusty rock, but a ship was freedom. There was limitless possibility.
Imperium! 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 Fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah! Imperium! Fuck yeah!
Chris. I'm Aaron. I'm the hardworking one.
You've been watching the last episode of Reverse the Verse, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed it. You know, when I hired in here a year ago now, I was really worried that I was going to be the wild card, and I was going to be I was going to be the one that got people in trouble and stuff. And I was wrong. I was
Okay, Mr. Leak the entire game.
I don't know if you remember.
Shots Ben's on fire today.
Can we tell the backstory of that?
What the?
Let's tell the backstory.
My old friend,
Ben Lando and
I've come to talk with you again.
Tomorrowland, which was a terrible decision.
Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone,